Private TV, new media with a difference.
Good evening, and welcome to Prime View Television. My name is still Lady Marlene, Mystic Marlene. Well, my topic today is on agriculture in Straight Talk. But my main guest, who is Mr. Promise Amahah, is running slightly late. But unfortunately, or should I say fortunately, I'm not the only one today to chat with Mr. Promise. The other side of the globe is an honorable member that is here to bail me out. Nobody but Honorable Prince Daniel Chukwuocha. Hello, Mr. Chukwuocha. How are you, sir?
Mystic, how are you doing? Good evening.
I am fantastic. You know how I introduced? I said you came to bail me out. We're still waiting on Promise to come. Before we go on that, please, can you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Prince Daniel Chukwuocha, born and bred up in Imo State, Togo local government. Is son of His Royal Highness King Abel Chukwunyere Chukwuocha, the Olengalaba of Togo. Nigerian, proudly Nigerian. Thank you, please.
Well, I'm so privileged and so happy to have you on board. Well, the subject matter today is supposed to be agriculture, and then I know you're not in the agricultural sector, but Mr. Promise is not here yet for us to squeeze him in all the integrities and what did he say? He says he can analyze farming from grassroots to wherever he gets. But since he's not here, let's just chat a little bit on what you understand about the Nigerian youth and farming. Growing up, personally, myself, I wasn't scared of going to the farm to cultivate. And actually, that was partly how I was brought up. So, but with the things going on in Nigeria now and with the economy and all that, do you see that farming as for a Nigerian youth as a way out? Or what do you understand about that?
Thank you, Miss Marlene. There's no doubt that there has been this long age stigma for farmers, basically based on our parental upbringing, when you know that your parents are always looking forward to having a doctor, having a lawyer as their son, having an engineer. They were not even encouraging you to become a teacher. If you go out to go and play soccer, you're coming back with a whole lot of beating. Okay. So, but you can tell that those thoughts have come, to change. You have the Okochas, you have the Onwakanoankors, you have the, so that area, nobody's beating the kid anymore for going out to go and play. In fact, they're encouraging you. They now buy you soccer ball.
That's true. That's true.
To go and play. So the same thing goes to farming. Local governments, federal government now sends, state government now use fertilizer as a way of empowerment and encouraging farmers, meaning that they are seeing it as an alternative source of revenue, alternative source of livelihood, and going forward, meaning that any genuine leader, any governor, any bright leader out there knows that the oil is fading away.
Okay,
And
I was going to mention that since the oil
yeah,
is fading away, do you think farming can actually be part of our resources in Nigeria?
obviously way forward. Obviously way forward. The God created Africa with a whole enormous resources. So there's no country you will mention that does not have one or two things that has been created, that has been planted there for you to
Mm,
survive by the
mm,
Almighty. So there is no, yeah, we are producing cocoa back home.
mm,
Switzerland is the highest exporters of chocolate. So,
mm,
what we only need to do is to bridge the gap as regards to, instead of exporting the actual finished product or the fruit or the produce, we'll find a way
mm,
of refining it back in Africa because we are
mm,
actually exporting now to import back to Africa. So every if we're able to allow the younger ones take leadership positions, if we're able to get leaders with the foresight to understand the importance of agri, I can tell you that every graduate, 60% of the graduates will rather return back to farming if the enabling environment, if the funding, if the encouragement from the government is there, because it's not just cultivating, harvesting.
yeah,
Where are you taking
mm,
it to? We are still
yeah.
having problems of preservation,
Yeah,
all
but
through
yeah, that will
states.
take us a bit to technology because you said you will ginger them to come back. When are they coming back to still use the manual ones we used to know, or will there be technology put in place like equipments and all that that could assist them? Because Nigeria now, because first of all, to feed 2 million people in Nigeria is no jokes, and
Okay.
then somebody like me now, I will still get into the safety and the insecurity back home in Nigeria when it comes to our farms. But somebody like me will not want to now go back and still doing the manually the way I used to. Do you think the government is doing enough, or do you think they will actually encourage them by bringing mechanisms to help them come back and do this?
Okay. You mentioned a particular sector of the problem, which is the insecurity, and it's
Insecurity,
bordered,
yes.
yes, it's bordered
Mhm,
on the on
mhm.
farmers, and we're talking about
Yes.
agri. So invariably, if that one is not taken care of,
Yes.
then we shouldn't be talking about this.
Okay.
We should not. Yeah. But I believe that even the federal government, the state government have seen that it's very unpopular to allow the insecurity to continue for whatever agenda.
Yeah.
So at the level of criticism, the level of tongue lashing against the inability of any government, whether state, federal, or local government, to tackle insecurity within your own territory, it has generated so far, has shown that it's going to come to an end very soon.
Okay.
The 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 American, the Western world, whether we are waiting for them to come in or not, but at least they get up and condemn the act,
Mhm.
means that it's coming to an end. For a serving state governor in Nigeria to get up and mount the podium and tell the federal government to please stay away this or rise up to the challenges is a good thing. For the
Okay.
leaders, for various religion leaders, associations, get up and condemn the act, means that people are listening, people are watching, and this has to end. And if it doesn't end now, you're brewing anarchy. So that is the major component to discuss agri. You're talking of agri,
Okay.
you're talking about farm. And the same farm the agri you're trying to promote, people are going into the farm and they are dying, they are being raped, they are
Yeah.
being, dehumanized. So there is no need to discuss agri. There's no need to discuss technology when the actual process has been followed by insecurity. So we should, in fact, insecurity on its own should be a topic, concerning this agriculture first before any other thing. I wish we just extract it from the entire discussion and take it step by step. Who are to, do not lay blames, but also profile solutions on how and what.
Yeah, Mr.
Because
Promise,
you don't
Mr.
stop
Promise.
the man who says his life income is derived from cattle rearing. You don't stop him from rearing his cattle, but his cattle rearing should not be an impediment. It should not be a problem for the other man whose source of livelihood comes from cassava or comes from maize or comes from rice. There should be some level of coexistence. So, how do we do that? Haven't we been coexisting? Haven't we been making progress? What changed? At what point? What changed? What brought the change? Where did we derail? And how do we go back? How do we trace it back and go back to the real, go to round table and tell everybody, sheathe your sword, step back. We have been doing this. Cocoa has been coming out from the west. The palm oil has been coming out from the east. Groundnuts have been coming out from the north. Your cattle has been shipped down to the east and west. And we've been buying, we've been, trading. We are living in Kano, we are living in Pond, you're living in Owerri, you're living in Amahah. So what actually changed? And at what point did it change? Why are we not talking about it? Why can't we just, it's good to get up and blame Mr. President, because by the time he swore to protect lives and property, no doubt. So he should be able to stand up to the responsibility and say, okay, call a spade a spade. It's good, he has taken initiative, the service chiefs are sacked. We're expecting a new order. In the new order, how does it reflect to the young woman or the old woman in the farm? Does she now have the confidence to get up and take her hoe and go to the farm? Does she believe that she's safe to go there and come back? What are the service chiefs doing? Have they, actually given the boost of confidence to our military in the arms way to show that they can actually defend the country, the territorial borders? How are we sure that the woman in Ogun State who was just rattled 2-3 weeks back is now regained confidence? Is Sunday Ihoho our only option in Ogun or Ondo or Oyo? Is Nnamdi Kanu our only option in Imo or Abia or Ebonyi? Must we resort to that? So with all those components happening left, right, and center, it still allows you to come back and say, there is a government, there is a flag we respect, there is a leader. Has he taken responsibility? Are the people confident? Can we go back to farming?
At this point, you don't think it's slightly bit too late? Because although Mr. Trump, he's trying to get in yet. You don't think even the change of the new security chief, the service chiefs, you don't think it's slightly a little too late? Because a lot of lives have been lost, and the ignoring people's cry for a long time has, and you ask if Nnamdi Kanu or Sunday is our only hope. Well, yes, you can ask that, but do you, with all this ESN set up in the east and the one set up in the south, you don't think it's likely too late now to start negotiating?
No, one I can't remember his name, but he's an investment guru. He said the time to have invested was yesterday, but the best time to invest is now. To start investing is now. It's never too late. What is the option if he didn't take the position he took few days back, and we continue in the old order? What are the hope? Where do we get the hope from? Presently we have a new service chiefs. It's never too late to retract your steps. There's a proverb that says, whenever a man wakes up is his morning. This is his own morning. Let's give him a chance. Maybe he didn't realize the depth or the quantum of lives that have been lost. But now There's any other. The point is that what are they doing? What are they doing presently? What are their plans? How do we change the narratives? So
Yeah,
we
because
should give him
okay,
some.
that also still on that also. If like you said, people are being killed in the bushes and our farms and all that, the farmers have to survive. The headers has to survive also. Cattle rearers. The especially from the southeast and the south, what they're asking is, if you want to rear cows or if you want to come in, get into the town, cities, live with us. Let the government then provide where they can rear their cattle or cows instead of living in our bushes. Because that's where their problem is. And what Sunday was doing, they said, oh, Sunday had no right to ask them to leave. But I think he wasn't asking them to leave the town straight, Lily. He was asking them to leave the forest, the farms. If you want to live in the town, you can live in the city or in the town, but don't live in the forest. But they rather pick to live in the forest because they want those cows to damage the goods, the farmyards. So now with the youth, we're not this main thing is based on the youth now, not even adults going to the farm or our fathers and all that. The youth getting into farming with what's going on, this insecurity we're talking about. Which youth will want to go in that, take risk and all that and do all farming?
Anyway, our parents never went to farm with AK-47. Nobody considered
That's true.
farming as a place you
Exactly.
go to with a backup convoy or
Yes,
security of
exactly.
any type.
That's true.
And then that's what I'm still saying. It should not be. This should not result to where the farm will be more dangerous than the streets. So
Yes.
um Sunday Igoho, I never knew this menace. Brought out the name, and it's been trending.
Mhm.
Kano,
Mhm.
Nandi Kano, I don't know. But at the same time, apart from the struggle that we all know about the Biafra, he has taken a different tone. So all of them who is fighting and saying they think, though both of them I think have a different struggle entirely, but this particular farming thing and the insecurity in the farms now brought them together. So they have a
Mhm.
common goal as per living our forest and living our this thing and making sure that our mothers are safe, our daughters are safe, our farmers are safe.
Mhm.
I don't think um there's any other solution but to make that place free. There's no alternative than to have a free space for farmers. And if you're trying to encourage the youth, are you now saying that for you to become a farmer as a youth, you need to train on how to use AK-47, before you now go into farming? So I told you it's very unpopular. It has come to everybody's realization that it's not going to work. Making insecurity as a way. Nobody has monopoly of madness. Nobody. Nobody has
Yeah,
monopoly of
that's true.
madness. So it
That's true.
gets to a point. You push people to the wall. They can. There's no other place to run to than to bounce back. So I believe that the federal government has taking another step, to make sure that this whole, starting from the Boko Haram, starting from the henchmen, starting the road, the Lagos Abuja road, all those things have to come into play. The service chiefs needs to show that, like the federal government is saying, that they do not support this, and they need to show it in person, in practicality, in reality. So it will still translate to the farms. It will still translate before you bring in technology. Before, is the maize and corn not going to be planted on the soil? There has to be, that comfort. There has to be that free movement of goods and properties, which is, enshrined in the law of both the AU, the West African uh, treaty, then his responsibility as the leader of the nation. So is enshrined in our democracy, and we should be able to move freely. And if we are moving freely, our moving freely should not encroach in the other person's fundamental rights. That's the point. But brandishing, I've never seen this level of brandishing of arms since I was born. You sit and you look at somebody talking to a constituted authority and he's carrying arms and you're discussing. What are you discussing? That man should be behind bars.
I know.
He should be behind bars. And if I
I
should be
know.
telling the law enforcement agencies why he's carrying arms before you now start discussing. Because as far as I'm concerned, I've never heard that they've lifted the ban on individual holding arms in Nigeria. So that is, you've broken the law on its own right there. And then before you now
Okay.
start talking about trespassing or whatever and whatever, because if they are not carrying guns, I'm sure there are limits to what kind of mayhem they'll cause. That is one.
That's true.
Two,
It's
if
true.
they are not, if they know that there are consequences to carry firearms, they will not try it. So are these people actually Nigerians?
That's
Are
true.
they part of this system? Are they from elsewhere? What is actually going on? Why would you tell somebody to leave his territory because you want to just graze? And for if he says, please allow my own farm, then you kill and rape, even after killing. Who does that now?
I know. That's
It's sad.
disgusting. I
Who does
know.
that?
I know it's very sad. Mr. Promise has been trying to log on. I don't know, for some reasons he cannot. Right now he's behind the studios, but his video is not showing, and I cannot bring him up without a video. So we have to have him on board when he comes up. Mr. Promise, if you can hear me, I'm sure you can hear me. Log on, check your video before we can bring you back into the studio. We cannot bring you up in the studio without your video. I'm sorry about that. And the other thing I was going to mention is, here we're talking about farmers and insecurity in Nigeria, insecurity in them. Can we take it a little bit to irrigation? Because in Nigeria, our roads, like you said, are taking parts now. The APC government of Buhari tried a bit, but the farms cannot, mechanized farming cannot be in place without good irrigation. Do you think we can actually get to that extent that our farmers will say proudly this was done? And in some countries they even give them tractors and come and start up for them, initiate it for them before allowing them to handing over to them, apart from just giving them fertilizer like they used to do in Nigeria.
I was a local government vice chairman and
Okay.
worked as a transition committee in the local government and also an executive. I met about 6 tractors in the local government, about 2 caterpillars, and yes, the state government, the federal government, there were programs, Fadama 1, Fadama 2, Fadama 3, they were all there. All those schemes were meant to boost farming, provision of fertilizer, like I said, urea, the different. I'm not conversant with their different terminologies, but there were this whitish one, there was this other one that comes in grains. There were programs to allow you plant even agri palm trees, and all that. So I know that the government have shown tremendous, goodwill towards encouraging farmers. Give it to them. I'm telling you, starting from Obasanjo administration to Yaradua to Jonathan, now the President Buhari. No, you may not see the significant impact because the re-engineering of the agri sector has to do with the modern way of farming as against our usual ways we know before.
And then this transfer of technologies and adaptability of these new technologies has to also do with who is in charge. You know, when you mix transfer, meet other nations, see how what they are doing. What is Israel doing better? What is Ethiopia doing better? What is Mali doing? How do you exchange ideas? How do you exchange technologies? How do you import and export, these same, ideologies on how best to maximize a 1 acre farmland, as against waiting for 6 months or waiting for, there are so many new technologies that gives you better and faster results while still maintaining the quality of the farm produce, which is important to us. Because
Yeah.
there, in London, the quality of chicken. In America, the quality of chicken in out
Yes.
there. Then when you step into Africa,
Yeah.
you also know the difference within the quality of the chicken. So how do we also imbibe or embrace these new technologies and equally maintain that quality without losing the quality of our own farm produce, be it animal husbandry or fruit or brew, whichever one, because we have our own unique way of allowing our animals grow through normal processes. And when you're talking about technology, that means you're trying to induce the processes of this growth. Okay, so how do you marry these two and still have a chicken that will not be tasteless to me and you, and still have our chicken that will be strong? When
Yeah.
you're biting it, you still know that you have your normal chicken from home. Those are important to us. How do you preserve the same farm produce to make sure that a tomato done in Kano
Yeah.
or produced in Kano, immediately they move from Kano and ship it down to Onitsha or ship it down to Lagos? That tomato lifespan most times does not exceed 1 or 2 weeks. Yet this same tomato that was produced can actually be preserved for 6 months and it still comes out fresh. What is that technology? Those are the, what are those technologies can we? Then you're talking about water irrigations. We have the River Benue, the River Niger, and all that. We have areas that you must be able to channel the water to go in for you to have maximize the farming process or the agricultural produce from that area. That's where our government come in. Individuals cannot do it alone.
Okay.
Individuals cannot. I know you can
That is
channel
true.
this or do that, but for you to maximize that, you need. Okay, there's River Basin Authority. There, you have the NDDC. You have,
Yeah.
the FADAMA, like I said.
The water
These are
resources, the
parastatals. These are
Ministry of
schemes.
Water Resources.
Ministry of Water Resources. Do you understand? All these schemes are, these parastatals and,
Yes.
are,
Yeah.
are people, administration's thoughts, well thought out plans to still come back and help, because they know one day we'll look for this oil and it will not be our source of revenue. With this interest land, all
Thank
these
you.
people
I
are
think
doing, you get to that.
Mr. Promise, Mr. Promise has logged on. I think he's driving. I'm not sure I understand that. But before I go to him, Bonita is actually watching from America, and she said we should also ask about designated farmlands. But before we come to that, let me bring Mr. Promise on board. Mr. Promise, but you have to unmute yourself. Hello, Mr. Promise. Amahah. You have to unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself? Yes. Well,
Mr. Promise,
we
welcome on
have
board.
Prince, Honorable Prince Daniel has held it up for us. And I must say, thank you, Daniel, you're still here, please. Mr. Promise, while you just logged on, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? The whole thing was on Agric. We waited for you also. We cannot hear you. Prince, can you hear him?
No, I can't.
No. Mr. Promise, we
Check
cannot
your
hear you.
check
Can you
your
check your
system.
audio?
Yeah, I can hear him now.
Check your audio. Okay. and he's gone.
Yeah, can
Well,
you hear me now? Can you hear me
yes,
now?
we can. Yes, yes, we can.
Okay,
Yeah.
my sincere apologies. I had to go for a farm inspection, and I'm on my way back into town. As you can see, I'm on transit, and unfortunately, we have security issues that delayed us on the road, on the famous Kaduna Abuja
Okay.
expressway.
Okay. We hardly can. We're losing your. You're not stable. Your sound is not stable.
So
Um, can you log off and log back on? You're not stable at all.
got into the time. I already hello. Can you hear me now? Is it possible you guys can hear me now?
Okay, now we can. Yes, it's gone off again. Well, sorry. Like until he comes back. Yeah, Prince. Until he comes back.
Yeah.
But this I was asking about the designated farmlands. Can the government also find it in their hearts to say, okay, if you want to farm, we give you this massive lands, go and farm. Even your state, you were local government chairman. Did you used to give allocate farmlands for lease? That's what it's called, lease to people to go and farm and come back and bring the proceeds back to the government.
Yes, as a local government is entitled to so much. Okay, as a state, both state and local, they all have lands. Do you understand? Leasing, yes, you can lease, you can grieve, you can actually have the opportunity to, like we have poultry as a local government. And if you, it depends, like I said, it depends on the leader. Who is the chairman? Who is the governor? Who is the president? What does he have in his head? What is he willing to do? The PPP is the best for every government, for all the governments all over Africa. If you don't have it, partner with the next person that has it. Decide on time frame, when to exit, what to share, modus and operandi. Give him the environment to come and invest. They will still make sure that there's enabling law to allow him exit his investment. So as a local government, yes, we had land. Like I said, we had tractors, we leased land, we leased our poultry, both the piggery section and the chicken. People came in, took over the place, you know, produced, and we share. Yes, it happened. Is it happening now? I don't know.
Mi- Okay, Mr. Promise, can you unmute yourself? And please, are you
I
safe
just
where you are? Because it's dark behind you.
yeah, I'm very safe
Are you
because we
safe
have
where you
security.
are?
Yes, it's very safe, and we have
Okay,
security here too
okay,
now. So if you can hear me, I'm sure I'm very
okay,
safe.
okay.
I'm just tired, and my
We
tired
we
eyes
can
is
hear you.
showing.
Yes.
Yeah, so I hope
Okay.
that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
So please, my name is Promise Amaha. My apologies for coming late. It's part of the issues we have to deal with. I was going to get back into town before the time for this interview, but we had a security alert, and we had to stay until the roads were cleared between Kaduna back to into
Wow.
Abuja. So we've been stuck, and we're trying to make our way
See,
back. As
you
you can
see,
see, I'm improvising in the car to be able to get
see.
back into town. So it's better late than never, before you guys
Of
have to pay
course,
some
of
silly
course.
ransom to get me out. Yeah, yeah. So my name is Promise Amaha. I'm a farmer. I had to go check on the processes, the land clearing for the new wet season for my maize farm, and yeah, I'm on my way back into where I live in Abuja. And yeah, so sorry, I had to take this long to get back in, but I'm glad I'm here. I'm also the Director General for the Nigerian Young Farmers Network, and also CEO for Mainstay Agro. So I've done agriculture for 15 years now. Yeah, so I'm happy to see my brother Prince Daniel holding forth and talking about tractors. When a politician is talking about tractors, it gets gets a little more excited to hear how much the local government performs under him. So please shoot me with the questions before I lose access to network right now. Please shoot me all your questions now. So what do you want to know about
Daniel, Honorable Daniel, you shoot him the question now because if I start, he will the way with the lateness. Honorable Daniel, shoot him the question. Hi, baby. Ebube is
Yeah,
there
I
too.
saw the cute boy. I saw the cute boy. How are you doing,
Yes,
man?
that's Ebube.
You look good. You look like a farmer
That's the
already.
He's
next
doing
farmer.
good.
We are
I
teaching him
know
how
you
to
look like a
farm.
farmer
Yes,
already. Yeah, you should join the Young
yes.
Farmers
No,
Club, you know.
I'm gonna be teach how to raise
Nice,
cattle.
nice. That's a
Hey,
funky farmer we have there, man. So go ahead with the questions, please.
yes.
Let's make it happen quick.
Uh,
Yeah.
so, Daniel, do you have a question for him?
So you asked
Honorable
Daniel a
Daniel, do you
question.
have a question for Promise?
You asked him a question
No,
earlier about
promise.
Yes.
star.
Promise need to
No,
defend
he said he has
this
a question for
his
you.
program first. Let's hear more about it. Let's hear more about the
Okay.
program before the questions.
So so it's just
Okay,
simple. So
Promise, you heard it. We want to hear a lot about this Young Farmers Network, how it came to be, Young Farmers Network, because you, Promise, I have never known you as a farmer.
Ed-
But
Educate
now,
us on
for
it.
you to get into a huge thing like that, you know? So
okay,
he
so
said he should
okay, so
defend it. Oh, yeah, we're waiting.
so first of all, I'll give you some quick stats, some global stats. First of all, the World Bank statistics for agriculture in Nigeria states that, or has it that, the average age of the Nigerian farmer is 53 years old. That's the average age of the Nigerian farmer. That's ridiculous. For a country that has over 65% of its population to be the youth within the age of 15 to 35, and the average age of the farmer is 53 years old, that first of all leaves a major gap that is disturbing, right? So the vision of the Young Farmers Network was born out of the need to engage young people into agriculture. Interestingly, a lot more people don't even know I have ever farmed. I look like a farmer. I had a meeting with the Federal Ministry of Youth Development, and one of the directors rose up to tell the Honorable Minister that, come, this guy right here is not a farmer, that he's a third generation farmer, and when you look at him, you can tell he's a farmer. For a 21st century where modern farming is the best practice, people running the bureaucracy in Nigeria still expect you to look haggard, dry, terrible to be a farmer. So
Yes.
changing the narrative to and repositioning the agricultural sector in Nigeria to embrace modern agriculture was one of our motivations in getting young people on board to drive agriculture in Nigeria, right? So I was waiting for Honorable to tell me how much they've done in the local government where he when he was vice chairman, to mobilize young people to get involved into modern agriculture, and not just agriculture that is cutlass and hoe. But while we're at it, while I'm waiting for him to respond, let me say a little bit more about the Young Farmers Network. So you see, it's the first time ever anywhere in the world that you have young people across every sector, across every discipline, get involved in agriculture. So, by the way, on the 4th of this month, I was so elated to have the Federal Minister for Agriculture endorse Nigerian Young Farmers Network nationally and embrace what we're doing. So, cheers to us for that happening after a long while, that we'll have the political will to move on. But one of the things I told the Honorable Minister is that modern agriculture and agribusiness is architecture. Modern agriculture is law. Modern agriculture is engineering. Modern agriculture is research and development. Modern agriculture is media. Modern agriculture is botany. It cuts across every sector you could imagine. This is what the value chain and value added production requires. Modern agriculture, is not cutlass and hoe anymore. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I give you a quick instance. One of the things I do in agriculture is aggregation. So, because of the network, I can reach young farmers who produce commodities all over the country to get information and get materials and commodity anywhere in the country, just from my mobile phone. All right, just from my mobile phone. So, okay, I give you an example of the rice paddy. The rice paddy is the rice from farm that the rice processors require to make our finished local rice, which is highly nutritious, by the way. But the processors need someone to reach out to the farmers in the field. So the network connects the farmers to these opportunities, and from 3 trucks of rice paddy, I make 1,000 naira commission or markup, as the case may be, for outsourcing, without doing nothing. That's part of what we call extension services in Nigeria, without doing nothing. So 1,000 naira per bag of rice paddy multiplied by 600 bags in a truck. Then do that math for 3 trucks, and that happens in just one fell swoop. That is part of the wealth creation in agriculture that we want to reposition the sector to be seen. It's business. Agriculture is business. Modern agriculture is business, and every young person can connect to it. So, talking about the tractor mechanization part that Honorable Daniel spoke about, Nigeria is one of the worst under tractorized countries in the world ever. So, our tractor to farmer ratio is about 45,000 farmers to 1 tractor in Nigeria, or rather 4,500 tractors to 1 farmer. That leaves nothing to be admired about. Our yield per hectare is one of the worst anywhere in the world. So even our current area of cultivation, out of 92 million square hectares of arable land across Nigeria, we are only able to do 34,000 hectares, 34 million hectares, right? I guess so, yeah. And then the average yield is about 1 to 4.
Okay. He's paused a bit.
Ton per hectare.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
He's
Can you guys
giving
hear me?
us
Sorry,
statistics.
His
I'm
line
on
is
traffic.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so as I was saying earlier,
You
so you
reconnect.
see, the yield per hectare.
His service is really terrible. Okay. Ms. Honorable Daniel, do you want to respond to the question he asked you, or should I just go ahead?
Can you rephrase on his question concerning the tractor?
No, he was saying that no, while you were not on the tractor, his question was while you were heading your, is it, what were
In other
you
countries,
commissioning? He's back. He's still no. While you were, what were you back home in Nigeria then? You were assistant chairman. While you were there, did you empower youths? That's what he asked you. Did you empower? How many youths did you empower with? And all that? That was what he asked you. Promise, are you okay? You're muted anyway. So let's wait for him. I'll take
He's
him
back
out when
on.
he's okay. I'll bring him back on. Yeah. No, when he's okay, I'll bring him
No.
back
He's
on. He's still muted. Yeah.
Empowerment in is a way of life for me. Mystic. There is a way of life. So the platforms I seek for are platforms to enable me to do more. Enlarge and increase in area of touching life. Paddock Foundation is known for the local government for empowerment, touching life. So yes, I did in so many ways. Yes, I did. Yes, I I enjoy the youth. They enjoy me too. So apart from our agri sector, you try as much as possible to also look at other areas. When you have youth who have little or no interest, in farming, you try to find
Yes.
yourself, like Promise is saying, there has to be structures, there has to be area things to put in place that will drive this zeal from an average youth to change the concept of living Bet Niger or living, whatever, to go farming. There has to be
Yeah.
incentives. What are those incentives? How do we factor it in? He mentioned lawmaking.
Yeah.
He mentioned, so many things, that will change the narratives. Those things has to be there
Can,
to
can I
now
can I can I
make
butt
an
in?
average
Can I butt
youth
in?
look at the other way.
He wants to pause it. He wants to join in to that. Yeah. What do you have
Okay,
to say,
okay.
Promise?
Promise, go ahead.
Okay. He wanted to say something, but is still, but before he comes up with whatever he has to say, let me throw in a question. Is in regards to this coronavirus. The COVID-19 has actually, the pandemic has actually impacted the revenues of Nigeria, right? It affected the Nigerian economy and the revenue. I want to hear from Promise in particular how this will benefit, or how this can favor the youths, because since the economy is dwindling, I want to know from Promise how this can favor the young farmers. But while we're waiting for Promise to still, I'm sure he heard me, but do you have anything to say towards that? If coronavirus pandemic has anything, has an advantage to the farmers, young farmers?
Hmm. Has he ever given any advantage to anything apart from increasing
Well, the economy, when the economy went down,
virtual discussions on
our
IT?
economy went down. You know what
Mm-hmm.
happened there, from Honorable? The economy really, really went skyrocketed down, right? If I were in Nigeria, what I will do is head to the farm. There's something I saw some time ago. You don't even have to go to the farm these days to eat, to feed. You know, sack of cement, you know, this bag of cement.
Mm-hmm.
Put fertilizer into it, put things inside, put, you know, the head of yam, ishiji, put it inside and cover it. By the time you know it, the whole thing will give you 2 bars of yam. So now, and with this COVID and with insecurity in the whatever in the forest, I think, to me, I would have thought it's an opportunity for the young people to start looking for avenues instead of looking for Yahoo way to make money and all that. Look for avenues to cultivate, to, even if it is water, no, not watermelon, what do you call it? Melon seeds. Ogo. Put it down and it will generate and lead. You can sell them. That's just what if this actually, this COVID, yes, it has its disadvantages, but I actually think it somehow too, it has some advantages. Or you don't think so?
Well, I never thought it. I thought of it in that from that angle.
Mm-hmm.
COVID as a pandemic on its own is something we pray that comes and just goes. It can
Disappears,
only
yes.
It has only increased marriages. Families bonding more. Staying at home more. Knowing your wife better and your wife knowing you better. As
And then
regards
you can
to any
imagine.
other business that has to do with
Mm,
you leaving your house on daily basis, I think is
mm-hmm.
a bad one. Is a negative
I
one.
know, I know,
I don't pray
I
for
know.
this to continue. I don't wish
Mm,
it for anybody. And
yeah.
whatever is it that they are doing, let them do it fast, and
Mm,
get this thing behind us. And so, I know we may not go back to our normal life so soon,
yes,
but at least
yes. Personally,
let's regain some level of
yeah,
sanity
personally,
across the globe.
I believe Personally, I believe life can never be the same again. And I believe this has come to stay and we have to learn to live with it. That's what I believe. That coronavirus has come to stay. So we have to learn, adjust to live with it. Will it completely disappear? It's like saying the flu came and disappeared forever. I don't think it will ever happen. But we all pray it does happen. But until it's here, let's live with it, adjust our life style a bit, livelihood, everything. That's why, to me, I will capitalize on it. I will utilize it and see what I can achieve while it's still there in the background. Mr. Promise, sorry, before you left, we were talking about COVID-19, how it impacted the economy of Nigeria, and how is it benefiting the youth. Can you chip in on that, please? Before we
Yeah,
leave you
can you
again.
hear me now? Can you guys hear me?
Clearly, yes, we can hear you
Yeah.
clearly.
Okay, so I want to hit Honorable Daniel straight. The problem about agriculture in Nigeria is that politicians need to get off agriculture. The government has no business in agribusiness. You heard what he was saying about teaching young people about farming. Agribusiness goes beyond farming, and that's the problem we're having. right? The average Nigerian is an agricultural illiterate. Most of these guys don't know what agribusiness is about. So they keep pushing that narrative that, kind of makes young people very, very unresponsive to agriculture because they feel it's all about farmland and it's all about the debt and all that. You don't need a farmland to get involved in agriculture. You don't need a farmland. Agriculture comprises of several value chains that young people can play a huge role in, and this is why part of our major activity as the Nigerian Farmers Network is to bridge the knowledge gap. You know, most of our populace and our citizens and young people don't know anything about agriculture, and the politicians only tell them, like Honorable Daniel, go get a farmland, we give you fertilizers, we give you seedlings and all that, and these guys don't want to have any business with the farmlands. Worse off now, the farmlands have been occupied by bandits and insecurity has taken over all the place, right? So they need to back off a little bit out of this agribusiness so we can drive it as business and allow guys like us who understand what the sector is all about, who understand that the opportunities in post-harvest management. Nigeria loses 60% of its production to post-harvest losses. Honorable Daniel will never tell his constituents this, that if you build a warehouse and invest more or look at more on the post-harvest management value chain,
You're
you're
attacking
going to make.
honorable now.
No, I'm not. It's my brother. He knows I love him so very much. But we need to fix Nigeria. So we need to say the truth as it is. Do you understand? By reversing post-harvest management in Nigeria by 20%, you've created enough jobs that will get people in Honorable Daniel's constituency off the streets and get them off drugs, get them off kidnapping and all the issues around. So you need to project agribusiness as a comprehensive value chain that comprises of all the opportunities that these guys can play a role in. There's a logistic and haulage part of agribusiness. There's packaging and all agribusiness. There is also value added production. For goodness sake, I have an order for 100,000 metric tons of sweet potatoes from Trans-Sahara Group in the United States, and I went in search of potatoes in Nigeria, only to find out that you can't find any potato pelleting equipment anywhere in Nigeria that is functional. It's just disturbing. And these guys just need the potatoes not exported to them as fresh tubers, but dried and processed as pellets, just like you have the cassava pellets. Nobody does that. And I have an order of 100,000 lingering on my neck. And this is enough to create jobs across several sectors. Let's take it a bit, further down so you guys understand the benefit of Nigerian Young Farmers Network. We have a strategy called the GEAR strategy. Without data, you can't do anything meaningful in development. It's only in Nigeria that our government and our politicians try to develop without data. What you're developing without data does not provide empirical results. So we have the process called the GEAR strategy that speaks to gathering data, equipping the data gathered across board, activating them and releasing them. So I see Honorable Daniel a bit unsettled about what I'm saying now because for them this sounds like English. But until we embrace this English and embrace that modern agriculture can only be developed through global best practices globally. Lady Marlene, for real that anywhere in the world, farmers are the richest. They are the billionaires. The business of food knows no rivalry. For goodness sake, we have a growing population in Nigeria. By 2030, Nigeria will be home to the largest population on God's planet Earth, and most of this population will be young people. There will be much more mouths to be fed. These politicians are not thinking towards this direction that we're having a population explosion in our hands, right? So modern agriculture allows you to explore issues that have been affected by climate change, like climate smart agriculture. We can go on this. And when it comes to tech related agriculture, that's where young people want to come in. That's what they want to get involved in. Not politicians buying them what's it called, fertilizers, and buying them hose and cutlasses that are not available. I give you a little more example. You see, there's something they call extension management in agriculture and agribusiness. The farmer to extension ratio in Nigeria is one extension officer is to 8,000 farmers. I'm glad everybody listening on this show could just punch the internet and ask Google to verify these facts. You can easily fact check these facts. Now, extension services provide huge opportunity for job creation for young people. Let me say something because you're in the UK. Nigeria used to be the largest exporter of red beans to Europe. We used to export a lot of red beans to Europe. But what happened? They slammed an embargo on us exporting because of quality control. The chemical component of our beans became so much that it couldn't be allowed into the European market again. So we lost that market. And the only reason why we lost that market is because of extension management. Because the extension officers help the farmers regulate the fertilizer input, regulate the pesticide input, regulate the level of agrochemicals that will make the final product and harvest to be fit for international markets, where we earn foreign exchange and we earn we're able to disable a lot of capital flights. Okay, let me take it further down because I'm
Okay.
shooting in
Oh,
all
can I
directions.
ask a question, Promise?
Go ahead, please. I'm waiting. Go ahead, shoot.
Okay, actually two questions. One is like I heard about your program, and I came in to actually listen about it and understand it better. You seem to have a big problem with the government. What are you lacking? One, what is it that what's your beef with the government, vis-a-vis
Okay, okay,
politicians? Two.
okay. Can I respond immediately?
Thirdly is that, do you have PVC? Have you ever voted?
Okay, so I think Marlin can tell you that I'm a very active Nigerian. I'm one of the guys that have believed in Nigeria for the death of it. I've spent my whole life in my siblings are abroad, and ordinarily I'm like a black sheep in my family because I refuse to leave Nigeria. So I believe in Nigerian projects. So I can quickly pull out my PVC and show you right now, so that everybody viewing will see what I'm talking about. So that explains the first one. So you see how committed I am. I'm pulling out my wallet in a short while, even though the roads are very bad and it's topsy-turvy. And I'm going to show you my
I hope
PVC.
you're not the one driving, Promise.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I wouldn't be so stupid to drive right now. So
Okay.
I'm glad. So please, can you guys see this? Can Honorable see this? This is
Okay.
PVC. Can you see clearly now? You can see all the
We
details,
can
right?
see it. Oh, yeah,
Okay,
now
but you
we
can
can.
try.
It's
Now
okay.
we
Well,
can see it.
that's what it looks like back home.
Now
We
we
know
can
what
see it.
PVC looks like,
Yes.
and he won't be carrying another person's
The
PVC in his
politician has
wallet.
told you what it looks like, Lady Marlene. So you have to buzz up that, right? So see, that tells you that I am even on the move with my PVC. Like nobody is more Nigerian than I am. Nobody loves my politicians like I do. But my job is to compliment politicians for us to make this country great again. And that's what I've been doing. It took me 6 years to get a national endorsement for something that's going to change this country in agriculture, because even up till now, agriculture still remains 70% of the employer of labor, the highest employer of labor in this country. So we can actually eradicate unemployment in this country and solve our security issues through agriculture. So I've answered your own first part of the PVC. You can see my PVC already. I flashed it already on camera. So that is sorted. So you have no reasons to think I am just one of those backing
Yeah, I just
Nigerians.
asked because you
Yeah,
came
yeah,
late
I'm
on
saying
your
I'm
own
responding.
program,
I'm
and then
responding. Sorry,
you're so
I'm
angry
responding.
about the system. So
I'm not
I
angry.
needed to
I'm
be
not
sure
angry.
that
I'm
you.
passionate. I'm passionate. I want results. I'm not angry at all. Make no mistake about this.
Okay, okay, okay.
So I don't have any beef with government. I don't have any beef with government. Go promise Amahah on the internet. You see me all around government actors, always, every day. I traveled all the way to Adamawa in the northeast at the heat of Boko Haram to go and train the IDPs on behalf of government. Lady Marlene facilitated that
That's true.
with her NGO Center for
Prevention of exploitation of women and children. Mm. We're losing him
women
again.
and
And children, yes. We're losing you again. You've gotten to where there's no service.
Maybe we should
We're
also include the improvement of network bandwidth out there while talking about agric.
even in Nigeria.
Yeah, very, very important.
Honorable Chukwacha, Honorable
Yes,
Prince Daniel Chukwacha, you are Nigeria.
yes.
You are working Nigerian. You are honorable serving in Nigeria. You should be able to do that,
Uh-huh.
not telling an Agric man to go and improve the services.
No. I'm only saying that it should be added as part of the discussion. Do you understand?
Okay,
The world
okay.
is watching. Everybody know.
No,
We are talking about
that would
what
be
we
a
are doing here
discussion
is to
for this.
sell Nigeria and look at the potentials. These are
That
potentials.
would
Do you
be
understand? For
that would be
investors,
the
these
discussion.
are areas to
That
partner.
would
These
be,
are areas to bring PPP. On
yes, that would be the
Promise
discussion
probably
for,
came in late and didn't understand my own plight
yes.
and my
I
conviction about my
know,
country and how I
I
think things should
know,
move.
I know. And we're actually run out of time because
Okay.
we're supposed to be a 30 minutes program and we have taken an hour of the program
Wow.
time. So,
Wow.
well, hopefully, Promise will come back. But until then, Honorable Prince Chukwachi Daniel, I would like you to just give us a closing remark, give us an advice, a closing remark to the young Nigerians, encouraging them to go into farming. Seriously.
No, my parting words will be faith, hope. Okay,
Okay.
we should have hope. We should see that there is light down the tunnel. We should look
Mhm,
forward to positivity.
mhm,
If the president didn't believe that things
mhm,
that were happening wrong, he won't change service chiefs. Nobody changes a winning team. No coach changes a winning team. Is when something is
mhm,
wrong with your team, you look at those areas that are bad and do a replacement immediately. The president has done a change and he believes something was wrong with that area, and we should applaud him
mhm.
and look forward to a better Nigeria. That's my position.
Oh,
Thank you,
thank you
Susan.
so
Thanks
much.
for
I
having
must
me.
say, I appreciate you for coming today. I appreciate you so much for bailing me out. Well, we have just listened
Thank
to
you.
Honorable Prince Daniel Chukwacha. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
stay safe
I
this
appreciate it.
coronavirus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, still straight talk. And my name is still Lady Marlene, Mystic Marlene. It's been wonderful. Although we had some problems with the internet or with some stabilizing the network in Nigeria, but hopefully we were able to cover a few things today. And I will try and bring Promise back again, maybe when he's most in a stable place, that we can then talk more on the Young Farmers Network, which is his baby. And well, the coronavirus is still there. I mentioned earlier on, and I'm still saying it again, let's try and live with it. Let's love one another, especially in Nigeria. Let's realize that COVID is real and that no matter what circumstances or situation we find ourselves, we should maintain the social distancing, wear our masks daily, wash our hands, and please check on your neighbors. Check your friends, make some calls, ask how are you doing. It goes a long way. And like I told you, this is Straight Talk. Until next week, bye.
Preview TV. New media with a difference.